Alright, this is part one in a series of videos on using some images and measurements to make a motor plate for our electric vehicle. So I'm going to get started. If you hit Onshape and you go to Lime High School, get in the electric vehicle folder. I have my own folder in here as well. We're going to go ahead and get started with a new document. Remember, whenever you're creating a document in any CAD, you want to make sure you set your units to the appropriate units. So right now I'm going to put my last name in here. I'd like you to do the same, and it's going to be our Etek Demo. So I'm going to hit create. It's going to put that in the folder because that's where I started it, and I'm going to jump right over here to set my workspace units. My default is in inches, but I'm going to move it to millimeters, and I'm just going to do that. All right, so we're ready to get started. Down along the bottom here, you'll see that we have a Part Studio assembly. We can add things in here, and I'm going to add the images that I took of the motor. So I'm going to click here, hit import. I happen to be here because I was practicing, so I'm going to show you how I got here. So if you go to your computer and go to the tech drive, inside the tech drive I created an EV folder. If you go inside that EV folder, you should find motor photos, and I'm going to select all of those and hit open, and it's going to bring them in here. That makes them available to bring into our drawings. You can also just click on them. I'm going to show you this one. This one is where I'm going to be pulling some of the numbers from. It's kind of difficult to see on the screen, but I'm going to also give you a printout of that. And then I have the front view of the motor and the top view of the motor. They're not perfect because they're photographs. They're not perfectly orthographic, but they're going to make sure that we're in the ballpark as we get drawing. So I'm going to go back to my Part Studio here and create a sketch, and I'm going to put that sketch on the front plane, and I'm going to start right in by bringing in the photo. So I'm going to say insert image. If I'm going a little fast, remember you can play the video a little slower. You can always rewind. So I'm going to come in here and select my front view, and it's going to say draw a rectangle. Before I do that, I want to get my orthographic view, and then I'm going to come in here and go ahead and draw a rectangle. Now I know there's a little bit of lag going on here. It doesn't really matter how big we draw it right now because it's going to get scaled later on as we might as well take advantage of the whole screen here. It's going to get scaled later on as we add to the drawing. All right, I'm going to try my best to at least get the center of the motor close to the origin, which is this little dot right here, so that as I draw my circles, I can have them connected to the origin. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to draw circles for the bolt patterns and some lines. So I'm going to come in here, grab my circle tool. I want to switch to construction mode. You can do that after the fact if you want to. And I'm going to draw a series of circles. I want one. I should have taken these bolts out when I took the photo, but I'm going to draw one to here. I'm going to draw another circle that picks up this bolt pattern. And we're going to add some dimensions to that from our drawing. I want to put some lines in, but I want my lines to be midpoint lines. And my mouse is locking up again, and I'm not really sure. All right, midpoint line. I want it to be construction. I'm going to click here. Draw, make sure it's horizontal. See, I get that little indicator. I'm going to draw a horizontal line there. I am going to draw a vertical line here. And I'm going to draw two lines at approximately 45 degrees, and we're going to set some dimensions on that. So let's get those dimensions for our lines. I'm going to come up here and grab the dimension tool, or you can hit D. And I want this line to be 45 degrees off of horizontal. And I'm going to set this one to 45 off of horizontal. And you're going to see that all of my lines, whoops, I'm going to set that turned red. The reason it turned red is because when I drew this line, it automatically put a perpendicular relationship to the other line. So I didn't really need to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that out, undo that dimension. I didn't notice that that line was already black. You guys did some of the training lessons, and we put a lot of geometric relationships in, and I didn't notice that one was already there. So that perpendicular is the reason I got that little red bit there. All right, let's add some dimensions to these bolt hole circles, and I am pulling them off of this drawing, which you're not going to be able to see, but as I mentioned, I have a printout for you that'll make it a little bit easier for you to get those numbers. All right, guys, I was just about to add some dimensions here, and I had a little glitch with the software. Hopefully, I can piece this together. So we're going to add some dimensions to these circles, and the outer one is coming in at 149.2 millimeters. And that's going to resize our drawing. And then I'm going to come in and give this one a dimension. This one is 106.4. All right. We also need to put a circle on here that represents the outer diameter of the whole motor. So I'm going to grab the circle tool again, click on my origin, and notice I did not select the construction line option. I'm going to hit D for dimension, and the overall diameter of our motor is 201 millimeters. You can see that I didn't quite scale the drawing just right, and I'm not sure why all that happened, but we're going to call that good. All right, so we need to put some points in here at these locations where we're going to have bolts, because that's the critical piece of the puzzle. So I'm going to grab the point tool, and I'm just going to click on every one of those intersections. Oops, that doesn't belong there. I'm going to hit Control Z, undo that one. I wanted one here. Go back and grab that point tool again. Here, 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 here. So those four, and then I need these four. All right, so I should have a total of 8 bolt holes. They're pretty close to the picture, but not perfect. If we wanted to, we probably could rescale that picture and move it over a little bit, but I don't want to take the time to do that because I have the actual drawing to work with. All right, next up, I want to draw this surface that represents this embossed, this face that sticks up that has this bolt pattern in it. It's got a little bit of a recess there. And I'm going to show you the top view just to get an idea here. And if I click here, there's a little bit of a machine surface that sticks out. We're also going to need to do this part right here. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and extrude. I'm going to rotate this so you can see it a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and extrude the outer part of the motor. So I'm going to hit extrude, and I'm going to flip my direction, and the depth of that portion of the motor is 150.5 millimeters. Whoops, something didn't happen right there. My keyboard wasn't working. 150.5. All right, got that set. I'm going to go back. Notice my sketch is hidden. I'm going to show my sketch again because we're going to come in here and there's a feature that we need to cut out of this guy. So I'm going to activate that sketch, go back to that, and we're going to draw this circle, and I'm going to need to get some measurements to do that. So I'm going to call this a good start video, and we're going to create another video after this one.